1. Okay. All right. So
Up in future. Sorry, I had it.
So the first one we're going to do is number 16. And that is x squared, y equals x squared minus 7. So from the homework of the previous one, all I ask you is to make the table and graph it, and then point out where the vertex is. So we're going to do that. For this section, our domain is always -2 to 2. So it's going to be -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. So what we're going to do is plug in -2 into here and solve for each value. So -2, then -1, then 0, then 1, and 2. So I'm going to do -2, and I think I'm just going to do it. No, I can't do it like that. So -2 squared. Put that in parentheses. Just make sure if you're going to use the calculator, put that in parentheses if you go to square it. Minus 7. So -2 times -2 is a +4 minus 7. That gives you a -3. So your first value here is -3. Now here's a big hint. If you're doing this correctly, the one over on the far side of the other should also be -3. Now you could do all of them to check it out, but I'm telling you the pattern will always be the same as long as you're doing it correctly. If this one's -3, then this one's going to be -3. So I can save you some time. You're doing like half the work essentially. Let's do the next one. -1 squared minus 7. -1 squared is 1 times -1. That's a +1. So +1 minus 7 is a -6. So -6 here. And because I know symmetrical, this one over here is also -6. Okay, last one that's blank is 0. 0 super easy. 0 minus 7, because 0 squared is 0. That's -7. So this is -7 over here. This right here is our vertex. The middle of our table is the vertex. And when you graph it, now the graph details, I don't really care how detailed it is. I really care about the table more. But the graph is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So your first point's here at 0, 7. 1, -6. And then the next one's 2, -3. So up here. And it makes this upwards U shape. This U shape is called a parabola. So I'll be referring to the parabola.
Is it always going to be a U?
This section is always a parabola, yeah. Okay. So that's number 16. I'm happy to do number 6 next. I just want to know if anyone has questions on this one right now. And do you need me to go ahead, Scott?
I'm going to go, but can you post the video?
Yeah, I'll post this video.
Oh, yeah, you answered my question.
No,
Thank you.
I have a
The
question.
video for the what's it called for tomorrow's homework.
Yes, that one, I just attached it to the homework assignment. So you could look at the homework assignment. It should be there. Okay. Jacob, go ahead. You want to do 6?
So do we just basically just graph it and then we do like a U on the mark, like the graph, you put the points and then just make a U along the points?
You connect the dots of the points, and the connecting the dots make it a U shape. It's not a
Wait,
straight
it's
line.
not there.
What about the A and C thing?
Algebra 1, graphing ax squared plus c day 2, I believe.
Are there any graphs that we could use? Like
I'll just post it. Yeah.
You could probably print them out. Like there's probably ones that, like.
yeah, can you
Wait,
give us a good one?
Mr. Tawal, the
Or
video
could
is
you use any graph?
I just posted the link. It should pop up.
I
now.
need to go, but thank you.
No problem, Jasmine.
Mr. Tabak, could we use any graph?
You like grid lines?
Hmm?
Yeah, this is the second video. I just posted the link right there.
Can you use any
comment?
graphs?
Hold up. Jacob, you said use any graph. What do you mean by that?
Can you use any graph? Like just search up any graph and then just use that to make the U.
Any grid lines? Yeah, you can use any grid line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. You see it, Scarlett, now? I just posted it as a link.
Thank you.
All right, no problem.
Coach, you post the answers.
I have to make them. I have to make them, so it'll take me a little bit to make them. So
What do you,
after
no, because if you look on 575, it says see additional answers, and I don't know what that means.
exactly. So I have to actually
do-
write them out and do.
Can you do one more, please? Can you do like number 6? That looks very simple.
Can you
Sure.
just like tell us what to do for that?
Sure, I'll do that right after this then. Okay. So let's do number 6 though, real quick. I think it is.
It's y equals x 8x squared.
Y equals 8x squared.
Good, good. So same deal. So the process is basically always the same. The only difference is the math of it.
But it goes to 32 for -2.
Yeah, it's just going to be really tall. So like the graph, I already know how the graph's going to look like. It's going to be like really thin like this, and really thin like this. That's okay. Again, my concern is not so much the graph. The graph is important, but when I grade this stuff, I look at the table. I don't really look at the
Do we
graph.
need to graph it when we're doing the homework?
I want you to graph it in the homework just so you understand how
All
it
right.
looks.
So I'm gonna make I'm gonna print another graph and then I'll just attach that to the homework. I'll put
No.
like a number next to it.
Yeah, but Jacob, you could just do it like this. You literally, this is good enough. You just draw a little cross section and then show me where it points and
Like I don't even need to use numbers. Just make it look like where it would make sense.
look accurate. Like if it looks like
Alright.
this, then I know something's up. You know?
Yeah. Like make it look accurate, but you don't need it to be exact.
Nah, I can't. You
All
don't.
right.
I don't provide you grid lines, so it's not fair to make it exact.
Okay.
So this one, -2 squared is 4, and then 4 times 8 is 32. -1 squared is 1 times 8, so that's 8. 0 squared is 0 times 8 is 0. 1 squared is 8. 1 times 8 is 8. And then 4 times 8 is 32. And then you could check, hey, this is symmetrical and this is symmetrical. They're the same numbers on both. Like the farther you spread out, they match. They're mirrored. So we know that we probably did it correctly because of that. And then you just draw a little graph like that. And then for me, just point out which one's the vertex. The vertex in this case is that middle part, which is 0, 0 in that case. The vertex on the
So-
graph is the little point at the edge of the.
So the bottom of the U is gonna be like in this case, it's gonna be 0, 0.
Yes. Sometimes, because it's upside down, it's going to be the top of the U, all right? But it's the
Yeah,
tip
I'm
of the U.
saying
essentially.
sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let me go over a little bit of what was today's lesson.
Yes.
Today's lesson, it's kind of like there's 2 parts to it. First off, there's 2 things happening at the same time. I think the first one's 7x squared plus 7 or minus 7?
-7 plus 7.
Plus or minus?
It's 7x squared plus 7.
Plus 7, okay. So y equals 7x squared plus 7. So your first steps are going to still be the same. You're graphing the table, you're graphing the shape. So first we'll make our table.
I did it, so I can tell you. I have a calculator.
All right. Give me the y values then, and then I'll fill in the x out.
It's 35, 14, 7, and 14 and 35.
Good. And remember the x's are still always -2 to 2.
Yeah.
-1, 0, 1, 2. In terms of a graph, it's going to be a little bit suspended above the x-axis. The vertex is going to be above the x-axis.
It was like this.
And it's
Like
going to
this.
be very, very narrow. It's a very skinny one, kind of like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So the concept of today's lesson was going to ask you to add this to your answer. First off, describe it as, is it more narrow or more wide? When A here is
that number
bigger than
24?
1, it becomes narrower. So when it's bigger than 1, it becomes narrower because it's going up faster, essentially. So you would put narrower is not a word, so more narrow.
That's one of your answers?
This is going to be part of your answers, yes. So it's going to be more narrow. And then the second aspect, is it shifted up or down? So usually it's 0, 0, but now it's been moved, like physically moved up. So it's going to be shifted up.
But what do you
And
mean
that-
that? What if it wasn't?
What if
Oh,
it wasn't shifted up or down? You just say no shift.
So that would just be the answer. We need to do.
The table's part of the answer. You're still practicing that. You're just
Mhm.
adding a little bit more. Now I've put a second element to it, which is you telling me, does it get skinnier or it gets wider? And the rules to decide what's skinnier or wider is when A is greater than 1,
Which one is A?
A is
What's
the
A?
number in front of x squared. It gets narrower. Again, that's not a word, more narrow. When A is between 0 and 1, this way, A is between 0 and 1, so like a decimal or fraction.
Yeah.
So what's the opposite of being more narrow?
Wider.
Wide.
Wider. So it's going to be more wide.
Well, what about if it's negative?
Good question. Now we know that from the last lesson or the last video that when it's negative, what happens to the U shape? It turns
It goes
left.
like this. It turns
goes-
the other way.
Good.
down.
So when A is negative, it's going to be upside down. So negative A. So I guess A when A is less than 0.
A
It's
is less than 0.
upside down.
Upside down.
And then whether it shifts up or down is based off the C. When you're adding C, when C is positive, so C is greater than 0, you get shifted up.
What if you don't
Which
have a
one?
C?
C?
You're adding to the value, so that's why it gets shifted up. You literally add
It-
7 to everything.
What if there's
Is
no
C the
C?
seven? Is C the 7 after the plus sign?
Yes, C is always a number if without a variable, in this case.
What if there's no C?
Then what is that value? C is equal to what?
Oh, 0.
0.
And then it's
So
shifted down.
no. At 0, there's no shift,
No
right?
shift.
What do you mean
Oh,
shifted up?
shit.
You see this red one right here? I'm going to like literally grab it. Oh, it's piece by piece, but it's like usually it's here, Jacob, at 0,
Yeah.
still, right? But because it's plus 7, it literally got moved up this way.
Like all the U's or just that side? Like the whole U, I mean?
U. Yeah, the whole U. It's just I can't really.
Oh, okay, yeah. Alright, and then.
Yeah, but the whole U is moving up and down.
All
And
right.
then, Sam, I'll let you finish it. When C is negative, what happens?
And C is negative. That means it's wider. It's bigger, less. It goes down.
It goes down. It's shifted down, so it shifts.
Lighter.
Yeah.
Highlighter.
But
You know?
if it's negative, I have the next problem, number 25, is negative x to the second plus 5, right?
Okay, so negative second is A or C? Tell me that.
Negative what?
Negative 2. Is it negative 2, right?
It's negative x to the second plus 5.
Negative x to the second. So it's just negative x. So what's if you don't see a number, what number is in front of the variable?
1.
1. So it's negative 1.
So
So
is that
negative
more
1.
wide?
What does that fall into? Which category?
Upside down?
Upside down. So you know your graph is going to be upside down when you plug in your points. Now the
So
C, what's a C?
C is plus 5, so
Plus 5. So is that going to be shifted up, down, or no shift?
it's shifted up.
There you go. Okay.
But if is it more narrow or more depth?
It's negative 1, right? So it's exactly 1. So it's the same. It hasn't turned any wider or any narrower.
So
If it was like negative 2, it'll be upside down and narrower. But because it's 1, and normally it's 1, so A is normally 1, so A has no change, I guess.
do I write it upside down or do I try no change?
No, it's upside down. It's 100% upside down.
So
But-
I write upside down and shift up. And
Shift
that's my
up,
answer?
yes. Part of your answer is that you're still doing that table, you're still doing the little graph, but your final, and then the final piece of the answer is that.
It's just one more step.
One more step.
All right,
Okay.
that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Oh wait, do we have class tomorrow?
I can check the schedule right now.
It's evens. Tomorrow.
That seems like we have class tomorrow then.
Are we like zooming? I don't know. Are you giving us work? Or this is it?
Just like the normal. Well, I forgot to put the video here. I'm so sorry. But I'll make the video and make sure to attach it, and then I'll have a Zoom for questions. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. See you around, guys.
Have a good
Peace.
day.
You
Thank
too.
you.